Well, good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening. Hey, welcome to the Association of PEMF Professionals live Thursday. And I'm Dr. Jerry Dreessen, the Executive Director here at the AOPP. And we're going to finish out the year after our big discussion. We meet once a week with everybody, and we talk about what we're going to do and talk about your information that you send us to. But I think what we would like to do to end the year is talk about how to hit the ground running in 2025. And so in order to do that, a couple of things that I always like to talk about is begin with an end in mind. So now you've got 4 weeks to reflect on your 2024, plan out your 2025 as far as what it's going to be. So these next 3 weeks, I'm going to be putting together some things for you to consider to help you figure out where you're going to be in 2025 and how to position yourself, your wins, your losses, what worked, what didn't work. And so with that, let me change things out a little bit. So for this, again, we want to do strategies to hit the ground running. And this will be an interactive one also. So if you have any comments along the way, I'll be asking some questions. Feel free to drop in your comments today. If you're watching the recording, do the same thing. Just drop them in because we're going to be looking at those and responding to them as well. So for those of you watching, who here is ready to make 2025 their best year yet? I think that would be everybody. So, question for you is, why was 2024 a pivotal year for you? You know, what did you notice about your business? What were some of the shifts in customer awareness as far as PEMF technology? For me, when I first started, I was in Washington. I am in Washington State. Nobody even knew what a PEMF was. I'm like, what is this? You know, it was well known down in Kentucky, things like that, with horses and stuff. But on the human side, part of my getting my patients to use it was educating them on what it was. And often they said, well, where's the research on this? Where can I get more information? And so we were creating all of that. So as far as shifts in customer awareness, more and more people are learning about it. They're like, hey, is that thing I heard about? Or I know about this. I've been reading about it. So I believe that we're going to start seeing even more of a shift in 2025. More and more people are going to hear and see and learn about this. The professional sports are using it more too. They're not talking about using it, but I think those types of things will be out there too. So changes in how clients interact with your business. So for you, that's a personal question to ask. How have they been interacting with your business? Are they like, this is great, I need to tell more? Are there new competitors or innovations in the market? So in your area, are other people popping up that have these things? Are they using them more? Are there, in the world of PEMF, what's coming out? We've had a couple of newer companies show up. We've got the base unit that's got attachments. Some of them, the whole thing is in one system, like with Halo. It's just, all one device, and that's what you use, and it does its own thing. There are other countries that have their own versions because of compliance and, energy, how things are put together. They can't sell them in our country, just like we can't sell ours in other countries unless we have them set up specifically to pass the European rulings on what you need to do in order to ship it out. It has to have some, certain types of compliance, which some of our American companies have done, which is really cool. And then why it matters is, what we learned from 2024 is going to drive our success in 2025. And then also oh, hi, Angie. Welcome to the show. But what was your biggest challenge in 2024? Or challenges? Was it customers? Was it competitors? Or was it something else? And those are some things to bring to light, to kind of pick apart, and then figure out what you need to do to fix that, and then to move forward in 2025. So some of the biggest challenges we faced. So again, rising competition. Remember, PEMF is growing, but also so is the crowd. So there is it's such a parallel to like with chiropractic. So when I started practice, there was a lot of people that all the other chiropractors were targeting, but that was like 11% of the market. So I wanted to be, instead of the 80% of chiropractors going after the 11% of the market, I wanted to be one of the 20% chiropractors going after the 85% market that didn't know anything about it. So to me, that's the same mentality that we need to have in PEMF, is going after the crowd that needs this product but doesn't know about it. So to me, that's the mindset for 2025, is getting out there and educating. And then also, what have been the economic shifts? So we've had, again, coming out of COVID, people having systems where they weren't working, or they couldn't leave, or tight budgets, those kinds of things. But then also cautious clients, and some of them are like, well, what is this? How does this work? But again, the more that you can present yourself as the expert in your field, and you have, again, testimonials from people that have used it, those are the things that will help you survive and thrive. Let's see what we've got here. So we have from Angie again, my biggest challenge in 2024 was just getting started and getting your name out there. Yep. There's a ton of competition, but there are also many people in animals, that need sessions. So I feel like there's plenty of clientele to go around. Exactly. And that you nailed it, as far as there's going to be lots and lots of people that need this. And if you can get yourself out there and expose yourself to it, and it's, again, I'm on, as far as in my world of chiropractic, I probably get 6 to 8 new patients a week coming in, but it was from all of the hard work that I did when I was building my practice. I was out doing talks everywhere. I was doing demonstrations everywhere. If I could get into a health food store and do a talk, if I can do a presentation, the different clubs that were out there. I belonged to a chamber. I started networking. I did a lot of stuff. And in fact, there's this thing called a comfort zone. I didn't have one. I broke the mold on comfort zone, and I was 1,000 light years away from any comfort zone. If there was a challenge to be done, I did it. And it was tough. For 2 years, I spent a lot of time outside of my clinic hours, out in the public and getting to know people. But those are the things that, if you really want to build this business, those are the things that you need to do. So, and Angie, thank you. Yeah, drop one word in the chat that sums up your 2024 business experience. Again, if you're watching live, you can do that. But if you're watching the recording, again, drop it in there too, because we do look at all of these things. So next up is, where are the opportunities? And again, the demand is rising, and don't miss the wave. And I call it the hockey stick moment. You've got this system that is about ready to shoot up and accelerate faster than what it's been going. So a lot of times it's just a slow rate, and then there's this point, and then bam, it takes off. And you'll see that a lot in products that are now word of mouth. Before it was like, what is that? And again, in our world, infrared was one of those. Nobody knew what infrared was. Now people are like, hey, where can I buy an infrared? Or I have one at home. So now it's a household item. People are using them. And at one time it was like, why is red light helpful? I mean, what's so important about it? And then again, it's the education. It's not red light. It's a frequency that penetrates, penetrates the skin, gets blood flow, but because of the frequency, it's in the red side of light frequency. And, that's, in fact, it's interesting. In Washington State, I had a guy come to my clinic with a red light unit many, many years ago. I didn't know what it was. And he goes, "Hey, I want to start, promoting this and selling it. What do I need to do?" And I said, "Well, you need to get the approval of the Chiropractic Association as far as quality assurance and things like that. And then you can start promoting it, because nobody's going to listen to you unless you get the pointy heads of people that be, the powers that be, saying that it's okay." And so that's the other thing, is getting awareness to the people that can have control over it, but also the influencers, just by saying, "Hey, this is a cool device. You guys need to get it." Then it's like wildfire. So expand your reach. And again, underserved markets are waiting. They don't know that it exists. And if you've been listening to my lives, you know that I've talked about potential places to go, like burn units, amputees, post-surgery. Two or three lives ago, I showed you a shoulder that after 4 weeks was completely sealed up, and the person, professional piano player, was able to get back to playing the piano, and that's 4 weeks after breaking her arm, which is amazing in and of itself. But if you can go to these places, orthopedics, and help people, it can go over the cast, and you don't have to wait till the cast comes off. So there's, great things going on there. But again, education is the key. So people don't just buy products, they're buying understanding, but they're also buying you. So if you can go in with knowledge, and, they're going to want to work with you, but as long as they understand what's going on. And so part of it is, how do you explain to somebody how mitochondria creates more ATP in the Krebs cycle, right? How do you get down to that level of science to a person that is like, "Well, I just see a switch going on and off. How does that help?" And so, again, coming up with the terminology that lay people use and the terminology that is the scientific medical side, that's what we're going to see developing more and more in 2025. And then also businesses that succeed through innovative strategies. And so one of the things that I did is I went to a local health food store and said, "This is this really cool device. This is what it does." Health food people, they've already got the mindset of people ingesting great things to help their body out. PEMF is kind of the same thing, only it's on the outside of the body. And they have a highlighted speaker once a month that comes in and talks to their group. But also, I asked if I could come in their store and set up and do free demonstrations. And so I did that when I first got my PEMF machine. And I was probably at that store, it was like every 6 weeks, and I was there for 3 hours. And I would have my display up, I'd have cards, I'd have brochures to hand out, and I would have the machine on, and then I would have like one of the assistants, like if people were in the store but weren't coming to see me, I'd grab one of the assistants, have them sit down, turn on the machine, and started using it. That's when it would bring curiosity. It's like, "What is that? What are you doing?" It's like, "Well, she's got a sore leg. I'm helping her make it feel better using this." "Well, what is that?" And then we would engage in a conversation. "Well, what do you have that's sore?" "I've got a low back." "Well, let's just try, 5 minutes on your back and see how you feel." And so just engaging with the people, and that helps spread the word. But that was like, in that 3-hour period, that was maybe 6 people that I got to educate. So now if you're going to scale that, you just have to keep doing that more times. And then after a year of doing that, then you have lots of people talking about it to their friends and stuff. And that's how you begin to grow and become that person, because those people would come back to the store and go, "Who was that guy, that doctor that was doing that weird thing, or that PEMF, that P thing, what was that called, a PEMF?" Or, so then you start growing from there. So those are some things that, again, you can do. And those of you that are just animal only, it's, the feed stores, it's the livestock, places where you can go, where people who have animals go, and you can do demonstrations there, going to 4-H, going to the fairs and things like that, getting a booth set up. Those are some pretty cool things to do. So making sure that I don't know if it's in my slides, put together a marketing calendar. So you buy a calendar. It's got all, it's the big wall one, 2 foot by 3 foot or even bigger. And it's got each of the months, and you got to get it set up. You got to, now's when you're going to be putting together April, May, and June. You got to be 3 months ahead of the game. If you can get January, February, March put together, great. But you should be thinking about where you're going to be in the next 6 months and getting your foot in the door and getting in on those, because sometimes the doors close. It's like, yeah, we booked that all out in April. So those are some things to do too. So anyways, that's some really good information there. And then, how did 2024 go for you? So, are you tracking your revenue? What worked in your marketing? Who are your best customers and why? Write down one thing that you're proud of from 2024 that you did, and then one thing that you wish that you'd done better. And let me jump in here, just drop in a couple of comments so far. So yeah, Deborah, patience, buying, understanding. Yep, I really like that phrase too. And then Angie talks about as far as going to burn units and trying to get in there. So we need to get a list of places that would be beneficial to reach out to. I usually do a Google search. So I'll type in, and it could take a while to get there, but if you type in burn centers, and then you type that in, and burn centers near me, and then you can find the places, go to the website, find out who the people are, find out how to contact those people, set up a talk, those kinds of things. And then, yeah, local shelters, that's good. Contacted groomers to try and do demos. There's lots of places to reach out to. I agree. And then once you kind of crack that, once your brain is like open to those, like you start thinking of all these other things, again, where do owners of animals go? There's like dog parks. There's, the cat place where people go and sit and eat lunch and watch cats. There's all these kinds of places where you can engage people in a non-invasive, in a non-pushy kind of way. So that's cool. And then, yep, active adult communities, definitely. Oh, Angie. Okay, just a list of general ideas. Yeah. Well, again, if you think of the big picture, where can you go to set up for free? Where can you go to pay to be at a booth? Where in your community are there events? So a lot of times, like your chamber or your city, your library, they'll like list all of the different events that are going on. And if you can be anchored in some of those events, like street fairs, get on the calendar. If there's trunk or treat, for Halloween, the city's putting on those kinds of things. So look at all of the events, put them on your calendar, and then find out who you need to talk to be part of that. And then, so the big goals for 2025 and your challenge is, set one ambitious but achievable goal. Reach way out there. Like, if in a perfect world, I would love to be here. And then look at that. What is that? What does that mean? How do you, and then retro engineer that? Well, in order to be here, I need to have the ability to be there, which means I need to talk to these people, and who of these people might have somebody that I know that knows these people. And then, you just kind of hub jump your way up to that, and, reach out and say, hey, I'm calling. I know nothing about, do a cold call. Again, when I would set up in a store to do spinal exams, I would just walk in there. I'm Dr. Dreessen. I do, and I have a spiel that I would give, but we're doing this free. It's, something of value to your people that come to the store. We're not selling anything. We're, just doing spinal exams. I've got an opening this Tuesday at 2 p.m. I could set up right over there in the corner. It's a very small footprint. Can I get, your approval on that? So it wasn't like, hey, I'm doing something, do you think that would be okay? You just walk in. It was just so weird. Once you break that wall and you come in with authority saying, we're here, we're going to be there on this date, I just need you to sign. It's kind of how it ended up, and it worked, which is great. So again, a SMART framework is you need to have specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound things. Going back a slide, how many sessions did you do? What did you charge? How many places did you travel to? The more data that you can put into a spreadsheet, the more of a 10,000 foot view you can get. And then also to set goals. So if you did, 1,000 sessions last year, how are you going to get 1,200? How do you add 200 more? Who in your group was a fan? Who was your biggest fan? Who sent you the most referrals? Those are the people that you want to buddy up with and thank. So here's another one, right? Working 55 hours a week and having such a large geographical area. Exactly. So, that's a really good question on what to do. Again, for me, and again, I have my chiropractic business to do. I'm in clinic. And then what I would be doing is I had my Tuesday morning and my Thursday morning, I would be out screening. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'd be out screening. And I would often be working, 10, 15, 20 hours on the weekend too, plus another, 7 to 10 hours on those Tuesdays and Thursdays, plus my clinic hours. So I was working phenomenal hours, but I had phenomenal growth. So those are the things. And we had 2 small kids at the time. And I told my wife, I go, if we're going to, grow this business, this is where I need to be. Are you okay with that? And she would bring the kids to, where I was screening, and, we made it work, but we had a goal. We had an end in mind to get from a very small patient base to a large patient base. And I grew in a 6-month period. My practice took off like wildfire, but I was putting in the time. So those are some things to think about in that 70-mile range that you got there, Angie, or I'm sorry, Deborah, that, inside that 70-mile range, there's got to be communities of people or places that people go to, that they all group at and do, to take a look at. So I think once you got your brain open to, where do people go on a Friday night or a Saturday or Sunday, or what events are happening, what's the big money makers? What are the industries in the area? Can you go set up, if you're working with humans, can you go to the local city and do an event in the morning with the workers before they go out, like the city workers? And I'll do that. I'll do a back, it's like a low back pain or injury prevention that I do. And it's about every 6 months, I'll go to the local city management people that are out working, and I'll teach them, low back stuff. And it's just like, it's a service. It's I don't charge for that, but it's a way of getting my information out there to help people and also getting my name out there too. So to double your customer base by 2025, that's a great goal. By the end next year, if you can envision it, your brain will start making it happen. So what would it take to double your base by 2025? Can you host 3 educational workshops in your area? And when you do meet people, how do you increase or boost your online engagement? So do you have a Facebook page? Can you just start doing that? I work with a marketing agency. Part of the other thing, I have a marketing agency too. And my coach that I have in marketing agency, they have this thing called the Dog Food Challenge. And What they do is they challenge you to do 30 days of daily live broadcast to your Facebook business page, and you just talk. You're just talking about stuff. It's just, whether it's a minute or 5 minutes, but you do that every day. And if you don't do it for a day, if you miss a day, then you got to eat a can of dog food. And everybody that's done it has gone through the challenge, because they know that if they forget or they don't, and it's like some people are broadcasting at 11:58 because they totally forgot about it. But that's another thing to get you out of your comfort zone, to get you doing things, because as you move forward through your business and get that momentum going, it's going to carry you all of a sudden. You're going to be pulling on it, and then pretty soon it's going to lift you up and start carrying you, which is really cool. Let me throw up Angie's here. Yep. So now we've got people talking to other people. That's awesome. Yeah, keep that happening in the chat. That's great. Okay, next slide. So delivering a wow experience. So again, happy clients, thriving business. Teach them how PEMF transforms their lives. In my clinic, we have a little smiley bell that you can ring. And there's a sign that says, if you had a good adjustment, ring the bell. And so when people come back and they get adjusted on their way out, if they had a good adjustment, they ring the bell. And it's just a way of all of us celebrating the win. And they get to celebrate the win. So if you can have your clients celebrate the win, whether it's their animal or not, but it's just like acknowledge that something good happened, and let them express how something good happened to them, and get that mechanism inside their body happening where they get to say, this is great. Or you can say, wasn't that great? Did you think that was great? Yeah, that was great. When can we make this greatness happen again for you? Stuff like that. But teach them how PEMF can transform their lives. Wouldn't it be great if your service dog could be doing this all the time? How would that make you feel? How would, feel, felt, found, this is how they feel, this is how they felt and found. Or, is it an emotional thing? Is it what they see? Is it what they hear? Is it what they say? You can, ground yourself on how they express themselves. That's really good too. But then also surprise them with thoughtful follow-ups or check-ins. So, a quick text message or an email. Hey, just thinking about you. I remember last month how, we were able to help your low back feel better. Just want to make sure that, I'm available this month if you want to set up another time. I'm going to be in your area, or you just, you stop by and check in on them if you're that kind of person. I was in the neighborhood, just wanted to say hi, borrow a cup of sugar, whatever, to make that interaction happen. But, what can you do to deliver that wow experience? And then also to make every interaction personal. Hand out your stuff, look them in the eye, speak directly to them. Again, if it's an animal, engage with the animal, but also speak to the owner, or if not the owner, then the person that's, at the barn, so that you've got that one-on-one. And I think that's one of the things that we were missing over the last couple of years, is just that personal touch interaction. And if you can be the person that brings that back into the community, that's a great purpose right there. And again, share your in the chat below. Share a story of an outstanding customer experience that you had in the community. So if you have a chance to do that, that would be great. And then let's talk about the money side as far as budgeting. Remember, this is a business. How many of you went to school to be something? How much money did you put into that school to learn? Those of you that own a business, how much money did you put into the tools or the overhead that you have to have your business exist? And that's what you need to think about as far as PEMF. If you have a machine, you've already invested in that. Are you investing in your marketing? Are you investing in your time going out and doing things? So there are some people again, in the I like using chiropractic because I've lived that life for so many years. Some chiropractors, when they graduate from school, they think all they have to do is sit down behind a desk and people will come to them. And it's like, but I'm a chiropractor. People are going to, start coming to me. It's like, they don't even know you're there. They don't even know you exist. What are you doing that, going out there? Even if you do go out in a group and you belong to a chamber or something, people still don't know who you are. They don't know your heart. They don't know your mind. So if you can get out there and publicly talk about, who you are in your mind and, your heart, and you have this, why did you get into PEMF? I mean, that's a great story, and everybody's story is different. But if you can, tell that story, even record it and put it on your Facebook. Those of you who have a website, record that, put it on your website, those kinds of things. And if you don't have a Facebook, if you don't have social media, if you don't have a website, that's part of your marketing. You need to have those things if you're going to go out and reach more people. People need to be able to find you at 3 a.m. when they're hurting. It's like, oh my God, my back's killing me. What's out there that I can do to help myself? And if you're there, then again, that's going to be how you grow your business. So invest in marketing, invest in equipment upgrades, clean things up, get a better surge protector, look better, wear, have an outfit that, exemplifies your business. When a carpet cleaner shows up to your house, if they're in scrubs, if they're in a uniform, or if they're just wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt, you're going to think of them differently. So if you can represent your business by, having your logo on things, and, they're like, wow, this is, if somebody says, wow, like that, when they look at you, then, you're doing the right thing. But then also, what can you subscribe to? What events can you go to where you can learn about your industry too? But if you can double your investment in one area in your business, what would it be? So again, what were your wins? Is that something that you can invest in? And if putting twice as much into that gives you, that 10x, why not do that? But definitely, sit down with yourself and have that talk. And then again, 2025 marketing that connects. Literally you can stand up by being real. Authenticity builds trust. So don't worry about, well, I'm just a person that, I'm just a guy that grew up in Linwood. Why would somebody want to listen to me? You've got important things to say, and there are people that want to hear them. It's going to happen. And don't worry about being afraid to stand up and talk, because you get to talk about experience, even if it's just the one thing that you say over and over and over again, until you get enough stories behind you that you can begin talking about other stories. If you're somebody that has a hard time thinking about what to say, or you freeze up when you start talking to other people, 3x5 card with 3 things on it. That's all you really need. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you told them. And it's just one story. And again, the who, what, when, where, why, and how, that's always a great way to build a story. And if all you're doing is just that, and it's 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes that you are spending putting your energy out there to educate people. So it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can just be a small thing. And sometimes it's that one small thing that creates the avalanche. So, and again, focus on education. So teach clients the value of PEMF. And I think that's going to be, in my opinion, the biggest thing in 2025 that we can do as PEMF providers is educating and teaching. Because the more people that learn about this and what it's all about, then they're going to tell their friends. And now you've got that explosive marketing that happens. You become, again, that point on the map that just shoots up really fast. So the other thing is go where your customers are, like your best clients. Ask them, where do you shop? Where do you, what do you read? Where do you go? Who's your dentist? All of that stuff. Find out who they are and create that avatar. It's like, well, this is where they shop. I'm going to find more people like them at this market. They like to go to these different places. If I can find a way to be there, I might be able to find another person like that. So that's kind of the way to think on that. And again, There's organic stuff. So you put your social media out there, but then there's also paying to be places. So using targeted online ads, social media, again, local partnerships. Who can you partner up with? And I'm always big on chiropractors. Partner up with a chiropractor, partner up with a acupuncturist, partner up with a veterinarian. Who in your circle can you partner up with, or who do you know that knows a chiropractor, or who do you know that knows a vet? You can have that intermediary. Like, here's where I want to go, but who in my circle can I talk to get to that point? And that's a really good way of thinking about that too. So creating local partnerships is great. You can come in and do a talk. You can come and do a demo in front of their people. Again, chiropractic world, some chiropractors that are really good at marketing, they'll do a patient appreciation day. And that's where they bring in local vendors in the area and they set them up so that their patients, when they come in, they can experience, those partnerships. That's another thing too. You might even be the one to say, hey, how would you like to put on a patient appreciation day, and be that marketing for that chiropractor? They may not know how to do it, but if some of you have those skills on putting on events and inviting local vendors to that event and then open it up to the public, use your skills, use your special skills. But what is your number one marketing tool right now? What is it that you're currently doing? And are you getting results from that? We've got a dog food challenge accepted. Awesome. That's great. I'd love to hear about how it went, as far as getting some momentum and people seeing what's going on. So cool. And then let's make it happen. 2024 and the years prior to that, I would call that the groundwork. And 2025 is the launch pad. So in the next couple of weeks, I'll be going over more. I'll be taking this information and breaking it down. So it's like, next week we'll have certain steps, and as we go. But again, assess your 2024 performance and be your I don't want to say worst critic. Be your best higher self critic on what, and be truthful. That's the other thing, is be truthful. Just lay everything out, because once your brain sees these things, it's going to go in and start correcting for you. You're going to come up with these ideas out of the blue, but it wasn't because it won't be until you've exposed these issues. And if you have a partner, it's like when they see it, they go, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was a problem. Here, I've got the solution. So get them down on paper where you can see them, write them, use your body and your hands to write things down, because that helps your whole system like integrate these things. But then set up your goals. Where do you want to be? And then how do you get there? Because if you don't know where you're going, how can you get there, right? And then start implementing now. So you've got the last month here in December. Take at least an hour a week to sit down with yourself and do these things. Just like with a classroom, you need to have your weekly class of you. Right? It's not math, it's not science, it's you. It's a marketing meeting. Sit down with yourself. If you've got other people in your business, you got to have that marketing meeting once a month where you go over your wins and the things you need to work on, and also your what went on for the week. What were the things that came in? Especially if you're already working another job. If you've got another job, you really need to do this, because you need to have that fixed, focused time. And again, we're here to help. So reach out to us for resources, advice, support. If we've got something or don't have something, let us know so that we can help you put it together. And then what's the first thing that you're going to do to prepare for 2025? Send me an email, drop it in the chat. But again, thanks for your time. And that was our start of this next 3 weeks, which is the beginning of 2025. So if you liked what you saw today, share it with your friends. Again, this is not just for PEMF, but for business, you can take what I just did as a template and apply it to your businesses too. But like and share what we've got. If you've got a more personal thing that you don't want out into the big world of our Facebook page, then those of you that are members, drop it in the members only. And we've got a couple of things here too. So we've got right to 2025 plan down. Yeah, I mean again, my first 6 years, I had I still have it. I have a marketing calendar, but my goal is to fill up every week with something for the entire year. And the sooner I got going on it, the better. And then also we've got Angie, talking to the chiropractor again. If they don't have marketing set up, maybe you can help them with their marketing too. So then, feel free to drop into the members only group and, drop your comment in there. Those of you that are watching this for the first time, like, who is the AOPP? What are you guys all about? I have a PEMF machine, but why do I need to be part of your organization? We're an international organization that is designed to help those that use PEMF to be educated, that we're all on the same panel. But this is basically our code of ethics, is to help you be a better practitioner. And also our certification courses that we teach help give you the information that you need if you don't know where to start. If you want to start building a business, or if you just want to do sessions on people around you or animals around you, we're the ones to reach out to. And you can do that. You can, questions or tips about us, info@pemfprofessionals.com. If you're on the fence about being a member, we've got a calendar with our goals on them too. And in fact, we're going to be doing a big powwow here at the end of the year to put our 2025 together for ALPP. And having you being a part of it is going to be awesome. And that's why you should also join, because all we have in our best interest is you, or we got your best interest on what we want to do. So again, I want to thank you for your time. And I look forward to answering any questions offline, and again, any emails that you have too. So with that, I will end our little live stream today, and I'll see you next week with even more awesome information on how you can get your 2025 kicked into full gear. So with that, take care.